I want to share with you guys today just kind of a fun little pointer. This won't be as long as normal, but it's something that I think can be really helpful for us as people and us as teams. And that is giving people the keys to interacting with you and having a relationship with you. About 6 years ago, I got an email from Seth Barnes, and he had come across this article, and it was basically, it talked about writing a manual for people, or like a guide to working with you. And it actually started a really cool conversation, and I really enjoyed what came out of that, and it's actually helped shape some of how I interact with Seth. You see, each of us are like beautiful and complex people, and oftentimes we don't even know why we do some of the stuff we do. This is where like growth and self-awareness is absolutely a leadership essential. This isn't just like self-indulgence. It's not just like a focus on yourself. The better you understand yourself, the more effectively you can love and interact with other people, and you can help them interact with you in a more effective way. Complex things come with a manual, okay? Some of you out there, like you might be people who read the manual or don't. Maybe you just don't buy things that are so complex that you actually need to read it. You know, you just have like an iPhone that you take out and turn it on and, you know, push the button and it does the thing. But when things get a little bit more complicated, they come with a manual. Or better yet, these days, it's like you buy something and you go watch a YouTube video that tells you how to do it. So recently I actually picked up, I borrowed this amazing microphone that sounds way better than my computer. And when I started using it, it's like, oh my gosh, there's so many features. I have no clue what I'm doing with this thing. And so I like watched this 17-minute YouTube video where some guy's unpacking all of it. Like, that was awesome. Now I have this incredible tool that I know how to use. Like, it's got noise canceling. I can use it in a noisy place and still record. Like, that blows my mind, you know? I would have no idea I could do that without somebody telling me how to use it well. How much more complex are we as human beings? And how often do we actually give people the keys to have a healthy and a well-functioning relationship with us? Why don't we do this? Why don't we give them away freely? Sometimes, maybe you've just never thought of it. It's like, oh, that's simple. Yeah, I can tell people stuff. Sometimes there's this thing in us where like we want people to figure it out. Like we feel more loved if people are going to do the hard work of figuring out how we work and how to interact with us. How to love us, things like that. And so it's like we kind of almost test people and make them put in the work to do it well. That's a relatively insecure move that I would strongly recommend against. It's not actually helping anybody or anything. So if you're in the camp of like you've never thought of it before, well, that excuse is now gone. I'm taking it away. So let's talk about how we do this. There are plenty of tools out there that can help you grow in self-awareness. Some of you guys already know them. There's tools like the Myers-Briggs. There's tools like the Enneagram. There's tools like the love languages, or the fivefold gifting test, and things like that. These can provide such incredible insight. Guys, I actually, I'm old enough to remember when the 5 Love Languages book came out. And y'all, that was like revolutionary, because for so long people were just like missing each other, and it's like, I'm trying to show you love through acts of service and it means nothing to you because you're not getting words of affirmation. And it's like all these people all over the place, like the lights came on and they're like, oh my gosh, you do love me, and you've been like doing all this stuff to show me you love me, and I felt like you didn't. And it's like, it honestly brought about, like, I think some amazing cultural change and like revolution in relationships of people just understanding how to communicate love to each other. And you know what? It's really simple stuff. And so we can have these things, and you guys might have this language already of like, oh, what's your love language? Stuff like that. Okay, cool. But there's so much more to us than just how we experience love. We have strengths, we have weaknesses, we have idiosyncrasies, we have preferences, we have triggers. I would actually encourage you to spend some time to think through this. And I'm going to put a challenge out there because I have not built a tool for this. The one that Seth gave me that we used was like very business oriented, so I don't think it would actually fit all that well in a relational environment like the race. But thinking about how you guys do life together and how you do things with people and the type of stuff that comes up, I want to challenge one of you guys to actually come up with like a template for other people to use. What are the questions you should ask? What are the things that you should like look into? And if you do, like, let's share it in the group chat and it can actually serve everybody. So somebody listen to this, they're like, I could do that. Do it. Be awesome. Here's a couple of things that I would encourage you to add in there and consider. One, how do people best communicate with you? What's the way that you prefer to like receive information from people? Once again, this isn't a demand. This is like telling people, hey, in my ideal world, like the best way to get something to me is this way. So I'll give you some examples. This is what I learned with Seth. Seth loves to get things in writing. And by writing, I mean like email, you know? So if you have an idea that you want to pitch to Seth, the first thing you should do is write him an email. If there's a complex topic, if there's an idea, if there's a change, something like that, he does so much better if he can read it in an email, spend some time processing. He actually processes through writing a lot of times. So like he might write, you know, put together a document, things like that, and like shape it up. And then he's ready for a really good conversation. And like the best stuff I've gotten from Seth and like where I've been able to get the most benefit from him, I bring things to him in writing. He works through it a bit and then we have a great conversation. Another thing I'll talk about, my wife. My wife is definitely more of an internal processor, and she, you know, if you have a big brainstorming meeting, it's like, everybody, let's say what you think about this. My wife is probably going to say almost nothing, unless like the Lord moves her to say something. But like her natural preference is like, I'm going to go take some time to think about this, and if you want to talk about it later, I'll do that, you know? So something I've learned as a leader is like, okay, if we need to discuss something that has any importance or any complexity, I'm going to let people know in advance, whether it's my leadership team, whether it's the squad. It's like, hey guys, on, you know, tomorrow we're going to have a meeting. We're going to talk about this thing. Here's a couple of ideas. Here's what we're thinking a bit. Just want to give you some time to think about it so we can have a great discussion tomorrow. Okay. So here's what's going to happen. Your people who are wired like me are like, cool, I'll think about that when I'm talking about it in the meeting tomorrow, because I'm an external processor and like, that's just how my brain works. You know, some people are going to be like, all right, I want to show up well to that meeting and I want to make sure that I actually like give my input. So they're going to sit, they're going to think, they're going to prepare, and they're going to show up to that meeting and have so much to say. However, if you just spring that on them and it's like, hey, let's sit down and talk about this and we're going to make a decision in the next 15 minutes, you are not going to get the best out of the people who might be the best problem solvers or thinkers on your team, right? So let people know, where do you fall? If you're like, hey, I'm down to discuss anything, anytime, and I'm like ready to go, awesome, great. You can let people know that. If you're like, you know what, if you really want to discuss something of importance that's going to require me to like think a lot, give me some advance notice. So like, even if you're like, hey, if you're scheduling a one-on-one with me and you really want to talk about something, be like, hey, I'd love to have a one-on-one with you. And I really want to talk about healthy relationships. I want to talk about how I grow in this aspect of my relationship with the Lord. And then that person might be like, or if that person's you, you might be like, great, I'm going to put some time, thought, prayer. I might do some reading, you know, and I show up to that thing like ready to go. Whatever it is, it's so much better if you can just tell them. It's like, hey, I want to give my best to you. If you want my best, these are some keys to interacting and doing life well with me. Tell this with your leadership team. Tell it with your whole squad. There might be different versions of it that you give to different people, kind of depending on what your relationship with them looks like. But this is just a way that I think serves both you and them. Here's one more example I'm going to give you, okay? And I tell people this all the time when I'm in like a leadership context with them in particular. The way my brain works, I process things very quickly and I know what I think about something as I'm saying it and not usually a whole lot before, okay? That's like my natural tendency. I've developed some discipline, like I'll sit, I'll journal, I'll do some stuff, you know? But I love like real-time processing, and because my brain works really fast, I will speak with a lot of conviction and sound like I really know what I'm talking about even when I have no clue. Like sometimes I'll finish what I'm saying and I'm like, wait, never mind, that's a terrible idea. I don't even think that, okay? But Other people might be sitting there like, man, if I was communicating with the level of conviction and passion that Bill is right now, I've spent time in prayer, I've spent time reading and researching and stuff like that. So Bill must really know what he's doing and he's like made up his mind. So I'm not going to say anything. It's like, no, this is just me talking. Actually, this is me thinking. Okay. And so I tell them, just because I put something on the table really strong or communicate really passionately does not mean the conversation is over. That's actually how I start the conversation. Please push back. And that's been really helpful in some of those environments because people are used to just like backing down when somebody shows up and communicates as strongly or as passionately as I do. Or they think just because I'm passionate, I don't want to be challenged. I love the challenge. I love the conversation. I love the pushback. And so I let people know that, and then I can be myself, and they know how to also engage with me in that space in a way that's going to serve the whole team and serve them well. So that's your assignment. One of you out there, maybe a couple of you out there, are going to put together a little template of a guide. Even if somebody doesn't, like if you just write up your own and share it with your leadership team, share it with the people that you're leading, I promise you, one, it's going to be really fun for you to even just sit and think about it. It's like, oh yeah, I really do like that. I like it better this way. I don't prefer when people do this, you know? I don't like when people yell at me, whatever it is. And so it'll be fun for you to do it. And then it's fun to share it with people and to just like open the book and be like, there's nothing hidden here. I want you guys to see me and I want to give you my best. And this is how you get it. And then you can also invite them like, hey, I would love to hear from you guys too. Like, how do I get the best version of you? How do I make you feel free to be yourself in this space? And I think there's some really beautiful interaction that can come from that. So give it a try. I would love to hear how it goes for you guys.